All right, good morning, everybody. I am Joey Q, aka Joey Quiroga, and I am here with a very special guest this morning on Ultimate Sports Network, talking a little bit about NFL and NFL playoffs this morning. So, a quick introduction. Today, I've got my boy Clarence Jones, and we know each other from Sports Management Worldwide, where we took a sports management class together. Sports broadcasting course, which we just finished up a couple weeks ago. So we were classmates for 8 weeks, just learning the do's and don'ts of sports broadcasting, and we learned how to cut up tape, interview skills, and a few other things just in the broadcasting world. We were able to network with each other, and so I thought it'd be a great idea to with the NFL playoffs and a lot of coaching carousel going on. Thought I'd bring him on and see what he's got for us. So I'll let him introduce himself, but without further ado, here is Clarence Jones.
How everybody doing this morning? Hope everybody's doing great. It's a blessing and honor to be on this podcast. I believe it's Ultimate Sports Network, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be, pairing up with, my classmate. It's crazy how life works. You can either know somebody for 8 weeks or 8 years or 8 days. And in this case, I've known Joseph now since, for 8 weeks now. Well, now 9 or 10 because he graduated about 2 weeks ago. So it's just crazy how life, bring you. You can think have to know somebody for a long time to connect. And me and him just connected over 8 weeks through Sports Management Worldwide. We took a sports broadcasting course for 8 weeks, and through that course, we connected, and he brought me on today. So, like I said, it's an honor and a blessing to be on his podcast, Ultimate Sports Network. And by the way, on Twitter, if anybody want to follow me, I'll definitely follow you back. No matter what you do, sports, you into lawyer, or you a truck driver, or it don't matter. I'll follow you back. You can follow me at _ Clarence Jones, again at _ Clarence Jones. And yeah, man, wherever Joseph want to talk about today, we're gonna talk about it. And I want to thank everybody again for tuning in.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Good Twitter drop. So for me, the real Joey Q34, and for Clarence _ Clarence Jones. So Clarence, I'm over here in Las Vegas. You're out there in New Mexico. So to kick this off, we're gonna talk about your favorite team, Atlanta Falcons, are we not?
Definitely. Let's get it, man. Let's get into it, man.
All right, let's go. All right, well, let's rip that Band-Aid off right away. The Falcons ended up 4-12, but a very spirited year for them guys still. Sure, there was a couple games they let get away, but a lot of close games, and there's still some things to build on. Julio Jones missed a bunch of games, but still ended up with 50 catches and 700 yards. Touchdowns were a little low, but so they're looking for a new coach. Obviously, Dan Quinn. He wasn't able to keep that momentum going from that Super Bowl season a couple of years ago, and I think he's a good coach, man. But he was let go. Raheem Morris took over. So man, let's go. Let it rip. What are your thoughts on the head coaching situation vacancy down in the ATL?
Well, first, I just want to go back to Dan Quinn real quick and just say, he was good, man. It's just one of those things where there were some key things missing, man, when it comes to game management, knowing where you at in the game, whether what quarter it is, how much timeouts you got. It just was a meltdown, overall. But like I say, out of his 5 years with us, the first 2-3 years was good, but overall, it just went down to just bad game management, not knowing when to call a timeout, not knowing when to, run the football instead of throwing the football. Every week you getting losses in the, in the press conference, you saying the same thing every week. We're going to get better. We're going to look at film. Me as a Falcon fan, I've been a fan since 1998. And, Falcon fans, I can only imagine we get tired of hearing the same old, we're going to get better, blah, blah, blah. But to tell you the truth, Joseph, man, I think what really did it for me, I'm not sure about other Falcon fans, but what did it for me is Super Bowl 51, because I'm still living in that funk, still living in that stress, of knowing we was going up against, arguably the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. We were up on them 28-3 in the third quarter, and we just let it go. Let it go, whether it's, throwing the ball too much instead of running it. Matt Ryan taking a sack. Dan Quinn supposed to have been this offensive genius from the Seattle Seahawks. And, we hired him, and we didn't see none of that in Super Bowl 51. At least the second half we didn't. So I think once that happened for me, it was very hard for me to trust Dan Quinn moving forward. It almost like, and hope this doesn't happen to nobody, but it's like marrying your dream woman, and she just cheated on you with your best friend or your cousin, and you forgave her, right? But at the same time, you're moving on and you still having those thoughts like, wow, I'm really sleeping beside her and she really slept with my best friend. She slept with my cousin. So I forgave Dan Quinn for that meltdown, but it was still hard to move on knowing, damn, we was right there, 28-3. And since then, Joseph, we haven't been back since, haven't even been close. So overall, Dan Quinn just did a, okay job, but not enough. Like I say, that Super Bowl 51 really did it for me and probably other Falcon fans. But going to your next question, as far as my head coaching vacancy, I'm gonna tell you right now, my gut feeling right now, because I haven't really had an idea to like scope every coach, but I do have two in mind that I would love to have come to Atlanta Falcons for as head coach. Eric Bieniemy from the Kansas City Chiefs and Joe Brady from the Carolina Panthers. I just like how they, making it happen with their, respective teams right now. Joe Brady coming from LSU and, doing a great job with Joe Burrow. Eric Bieniemy, regardless of how many people want to say, oh, it's not Eric Bieniemy, it's Andy Reid. I still think it's somewhat having to do with Eric Bieniemy making success in that Chiefs offense. So right now, my two candidates that I would love to have right now, like I say, that could change in the next 2 weeks if they was to get hired somewhere else. But right now, I want Eric Bieniemy and Joe Brady in that order.
Man, I love you. I love those hot takes, man, and I love your passion, man. That's why you're here. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
But
definitely.
no, your points are amazing. No doubt. I didn't want to bring up the 28-3. I let you do it. I let you do it. But no, and you're right, man. Like they never came back. They never came back. They never got back into the playoffs after a heartbreaker like that. And I do think it's the right move at this time. It may be even a year after it should have happened, right? To peak that high and then come back on the downside with nothing to show for it, a playoff, a division win, anything like that.
Right.
And don't get it twisted. That division's getting better and better and better.
Ooh,
so like
definitely.
They were here and now they're coming down as Tampa resurges and Carolina still has a roster with some playmakers on it.
Right. New Orleans, I don't know what they're going to look like, but I know they're going to look good. But real quick about Raheem Morris, I like what he did because once we let go of Dan Quinn, he did got us some wins. But I just think it is time to just burn it down, clean house, and get rid of everybody and just bring a new, fresh voice in there, GM and head coach,
Yeah, I got you, man, no doubt. And Eric Bieniemy, man, if you guys get him, I think that'll be exactly what you're looking for. And sure, whatever they're saying about it's Andy Reid, blah blah blah. Look, man, that dude's the OC, and he deserves credit for a little bit of credit of what's going on over there, and he deserves an opportunity for HC head coaching job, no doubt.
I agree.
All right, man. So you just spoke of burning it down. You just spoke of burning it down, and the first thing you got to do when you burn it down is the coaches. The second thing you got to do is find you a quarterback. Right. So Matty Ryan, aka Matty Ice, he's getting a little long in his tooth, and I know that contract is not very favorable down in Atlanta. So number 4 overall pick after a 4-12 year. What are you guys doing? Are you getting a quarterback at number 4? What are you going to do? Talk to me.
I'm thinking quarterback. I want quarterback. I'm praying that Miami Dolphins don't grab a quarterback. And I know it don't make sense to say that probably right now, but I've been hearing rumors that they possibly not 100% sold on Tua. I don't know the situation with Fitzpatrick. Is he going to hang it up or, just play again? But I'm praying that we can either get I really want, and it's hard, I would say, because my right side of me wants Justin Fields. My left side of me want Trevor Lawrence, but then I'm starting to be sold on Zach Wilson also. So I'm praying we go quarterback, but if I got to pick one, damn, this is hard because I really like Trevor Lawrence, but I got to go with Justin Fields because I like the stuff that he can do. He's a runner, but at the same time, Trevor Lawrence is too. So it's hard for me to pick, but I say we go quarterback, and I want, like I said, no order in this one. I want either Lawrence, Fields, or Zach Wilson. I'll take one of those three, but we got to get a quarterback. I know we need a running back. A lot of Falcon fans been hitting me up saying, yo, we need a running back, but I'm just like, we need a quarterback too. And Matt Ryan, like I said, I appreciate everything he's done for us since 2008, but it just time, Joseph, to really let Matt go. I don't think Matt's finished. I think Matt need to just go somewhere else, maybe a New England or San Fran or something. I think for us, being that, we getting a new coach in there, a new GM, why not bring it in there with a fresh, young rookie quarterback that's ready to roll, whether it's Lawrence, Fields, or Wilson, and let's go to work. But like I say, no disrespect to Matt Ryan, I just think it's time to go, but we got to go quarterback. I'd be surprised if we don't. I'm praying we can trade up maybe with Miami or possibly the Jets. I don't know because they need to keep Sam Darnold. But I've been hearing rumors about them possibly going to leave on Sam Darnold and get rid of him and bring in somebody else. So I don't know what's going to happen, man. My offensive line. My line is not good, not as good, but we got to get that fixed also. From the offensive line. Todd Gurley, I don't know what in the hell happened to him. Todd Gurley used to have been, dangerous going back to his Georgia days, going back, to his first couple of years in, St. Louis / Los Angeles. I don't know what happened to Gurley. So I get it. We need a running back bad, but we got to get that quarterback in. It's almost like going to the grocery store and you got $5. The milk costs $5, okay? The eggs and grits cost $5. What do you need the most? You got a kid at home. You got to get that milk and bring it home and feed them that milk. So right now, our milk is the quarterback.
Man, I got you. So Lawrence, though, you're going to have to do a lot of wheeling and dealing to get up there because that's happening. He's going number one to Jacksonville, and maybe that's Urban Meyer's guy. Who knows right now, right?
It's possible.
But yeah, I don't think you'll get Fields at any lower either unless you guys are trading up. So Zach Wilson might be who is landing there.
Right.
I don't think that would be a bad pick either, but I think Justin Fields would be that'd be an extremely great pick for you guys.
Right.
And just that blend of the offensive arsenal of running, great arm, and then it's on display right now, right, in the CFP college football playoffs. So his stock is rising.
And he's very tough too. He can take hits and get back up like it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It's tough.
Yeah, for sure. Them ribs are still sore, I bet. And Todd Gurley, that's a good point on Todd Gurley, man. He didn't even finish the season as a starter. Ito Smith did.
Man.
I don't know what it's going to take. I actually thought after the same thing happened in LA with the Rams.
Right.
Like he started to kind of get pushed out and kind of lost residency with the coaching staff. So I thought going back to Georgia would do a little something, for him. But
me too, man. I was so excited. I was thinking, okay, we got Gurley back, and I've been hearing the rumors about arthritic knee, but I'm like, what? I'm not even gonna let that bother me. Coming into preseason, I'm thinking Gurley. I guess I didn't thought we would have got the Georgia Gurley, but I was thinking at least we should get the Gurley that was in the MVP discussion a couple years ago. But man, we haven't got. It's like he get the ball and he's like running in mud puddles, like 3 and 5 yards here and there. He may break out for a fresh 20 on a good game. But for the most part, it's like mud puddle running 5 to 8 yards. And I'm like, and then he's going back to the bench. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, man. Yeah, the knee has been bugging him for a long time.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, man. At number 4, if you guys wheel and deal and make some moves, that'd be very interesting to see. The Tua thing, I'll double tap on that with you. I think that's media speculation, to be honest.
Right.
It's a lot of people are. Some of the pundits have been talking about like he's still recovering from a very nasty injury.
Right.
I don't think he showed a lot of promise. He showed what he's capable of doing in the first half of the season, and they were running hot with him, and so they rode it, right? They rode it. they ran into a buzzsaw. The AFC, which we're going to talk about in a minute, right? We're going to
Definitely.
there's a 10-win team not in the playoffs, right? And so the Miami had a very, very tough back end of their schedule. Like
They did.
after I took another look at it, I was like, whoa. They were about like 6-3,
Right.
and then they just ran into a buzzsaw the rest of the year. So they had to play Buffalo twice. You know what I mean? So that was very tough.
And you know what's kind of crazy about
them.
that, real quick? It's the way that the Bills didn't even give them a break. Like I was thinking, okay, it's week 17. Maybe you know, Bills going to bench, Josh Allen, or maybe take out, Diggs. They actually played like it was a playoff game, so they was really trying to make sure Miami don't even get in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a statement. That was a statement. That was a statement win.
Right.
Yeah, speaking of playoffs and some big name teams not making it, let's take a little look at the playoff bracket.
Okay.
And give me, if you will, give me a little breakdown from each round, what you see happening out there this weekend.
Woo. This weekend, who we got on Saturday? I know we got 3 games on Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah. So I don't have the exact schedule, but I'll just give you the teams who'll be playing.
Okay.
So we'll have, I'll just go over the whole entire weekend. So the wild card rounds will be Browns, Steelers, Titans, Ravens, Colts, Bills in the AFC.
Okay.
And then Tampa Bay and Washington football team, Seattle and LA Rams.
Okay.
And then finally wrapping it up, I think, which is the first game of this weekend, Saturday morning here in the West Coast. Saints versus Bears, 2 versus 7.
Cool.
So
just keep me in track. Yeah, just keep me in track of each game order, and I'm going in so I won't lose pace. So let's start off first with the Browns and Steelers. I think it's not fair to the Browns. I think that game should be rescheduled. I get it. COVID is going on, and NFL probably don't want to run into a jam, but it's not fair. I think it's Kevin Stefanski. He's not going to be able to coach this team. And regardless of how many people want to say, it doesn't matter, play calling doesn't dictate the game. Play calling do dictate the game, because that's the case, it wouldn't be any jobs opening for that position. I don't like it. I think the Browns is just now opening up the facility today to practice again after they already been closed, I think, for a day or two because of COVID. So I don't like the scheduling of the game. I wish they would reschedule them to at least, I don't know how long it's going to take Coach Stefanski to get right, but it's just not fair. But speaking of that, I'm going to still trust that the Browns can get it done. I want to say maybe because that two-headed monster, man, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, Pittsburgh, they're going to have to really work their tails off to stop that. And if Baker's so happen to get a little bit hot, it could be dangerous for Pittsburgh. Nobody that I've talked to so far is giving Cleveland a chance. I am. I want to go, I say 28-23 Cleveland. I think that defense will step up, but I think Pittsburgh have a long day trying to figure out, okay, is we going to worry about Baker? We going to worry about Kareem Hunt? Or is we going to worry about Nick Chubb? Because they coming. You know what I mean? And luckily they don't have, what's the guy named Beckham there? Because if they had Beckham, oh my God, it would have been crazy. But they do have Jarvis Landry. So I say 28-23 Cleveland.
Nice. So if the Browns, that's gonna be an interesting game for sure, since it just played last week, and the Browns won to get in.
Right.
That was a gimme game for the Steelers. Didn't matter.
Right.
But now we're in the playoffs and things should shake up. So
definitely.
To be honest with you, I don't even know how I really feel about the reschedule, because a part of me is like, this is where we're at, and this has been happening all season. I hear you, and I know it's a bad time. I get it.
Right.
I get it, and but it's the playoffs, man. I don't know how you reschedule playoffs. Like, you can move regular season games like they did Tuesdays and Wednesdays and all that, but I don't know how you're going to reschedule this playoff game, and it's fair for everybody. Right, even the old other teams, like if they move that game for them, but you're even talking about the domino effect for the next round of the playoffs, So especially if they win, they're gonna still are they gonna have a short week to prepare for? Well, if they won, they would be the lowest seed. They'd have to play the Chiefs. Like, is that what you want to do to them? So
real quick though, let's say this is a Super Bowl, and this so happened it's Tom Brady versus Patrick Mahomes. And let's say one of those quarterbacks get COVID. You mean to tell me you wouldn't be pissed looking at that Super Bowl like, man, they got to reschedule it. I want to see a Brady Mahomes go down. I don't want to see a backup. No disrespect to a backup. But we're talking, what if this was a Super Bowl and we got Chiefs, Bucks or just whoever, Aaron Rodgers and Chiefs. And let's say one of them gets COVID. Hopefully it don't happen. But I think a lot of us should be like, man, this should be rescheduled because we want to see the best players compete. So that's how I'm looking at it. But it's a little different because it's the coach. It's Kevin Stefanski, but it's still his first year as head coach for the Browns. This is his playoff game. I feel like that could haunt him down the line, come his resume, trying to compete for another job. I mean, let's say if they lose, but I get it. But at the same time, thinking, okay, if this was the NBA or NFL or the Major League Baseball, I can understand why you can't cancel it because there's so much games. It's game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But for football, it's like a one and done. So you mean to tell me they couldn't have moved this? I mean, maybe Wednesday or just something. It's not like it's MLB, NBA was bunch of games. So that's how I was looking at it. Like it's not a series; it's just a one and done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. And I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they did either. I just now in the playoffs, I can't see it. So if the Steelers win, they're gonna go on and they would get the number 2 Bills. And then if the Browns win, they're gonna go directly up to Chiefs on a bye week as the lowest seed remaining. Well, if the Colts beat the Bills, that'll change a little bit, but. Yeah, so that's some AFC action. This is a pick-up, man. This is a toss-up for me. What do you got, Titans, Ravens?
Titans, Ravens. I'm going to go with the Titans to win it. Derrick Henry is a problem that the Ravens, I don't believe, will be able to stop. Also, man, I think, Tannehill, he's going to be a problem also. And I don't know if Lamar can do it all by himself. Mark Ingram don't look the same. Hollywood Brown can be a problem for the Titans, but I don't think for 4 quarters. I think by the second half, Titans will be able to slow, Baltimore down. But being that Baltimore can't run the ball, and if you can't run the ball, whether it's regular season or playoffs, you're not going so far. And I get it. Everybody's like, oh, Lamar's fast. He can kill you with his legs or his arm. But the Titans will put a stop to that. What's the coach name? I think Mike Vrabel. He will figure out a great game plan like how he did last season and beat Lamar out. Let's say the Ravens had a running game, then I may give him a shot. But I know Derrick Henry going to be ready to roll. Tannehill was in the MVP discussion about maybe 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. He's going to play like himself. And I want to say Titans right now, 36, Baltimore 24.
2 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, I right now the way Derrick Henry, man, after that 2,000-yard season, he's a steamroller right now.
Right.
And right. I was actually listening to some late night NFL play-by-play, or I can't remember the podcast, but they had an offensive lineman. They had an offensive lineman from the Titans on, and they were just discussing his preparation. And that he's all in and he's all there all the time. He knows exactly what to do. He knows when to break it out. Right. Obviously, he's a big body. Nobody wants to tackle that dude. So I actually have taken the Ravens. I think it's going to click. Like I said, it's a pickup game for me. Tossed up. I'm a big fan of Derrick Henry and the resurgence of Tannehill and A.J. Brown. But I think I got the Ravens going up to play the Chiefs in the second round in that one.
You think they'd be able to run the ball, though? You think they'd be able to run it?
I just think overall, roster-wise, playoff time, coaching, I don't think we're going to keep seeing Lamar go backwards in the playoffs. I think this year, Titans, I think they're 11-5.
Right.
I think if they were a higher seed, they're the low seed, so I'm going to take the actual higher seed here.
Okay.
They're the lower seed, but yeah, that's just the way I'm seeing it. But it's hard. He's so hard, man. Like AFC is a beast. Like there's no easy games to pick there. Like you go down to the NFC, and there's a few you're like that's happening, right?
Yeah.
Saints over Bears, and Tampa over Washington football team. for now, but everything else is really tough. So
I do think Lamar will have a good game. I must say, I think Lamar will ball out. He will give it his all, but in the end, I think he just be disappointed by not having that run support and probably not being able to, to get those complete passes as much to Hollywood Brown. So I do think he will ball out though. Lamar should have a good game.
all right. Yeah, I got you. So let's kind of wind down the AFC talk. So do you
Okay.
have the Colts possibly scaring the Bills a 7 seed over 2?
Colts. I would trust the Colts only if they had. I don't trust that running game. I do trust Phillip Rivers. I think Phillip Rivers will give it his all, but that Colts defense, I think they can give Josh Allen and the Bills some problems. So I'm going to go with the Colts on this one, not because they offense, but that defense will show up. I think they will get Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs exposed. And I want to go with I say 20-17. I got the Colts. That Colts defense, they're going to show up. They're going to show for Frank Wright. They're not going to let them down. Now, that offense, that could be tossed up. But that defense, they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready for Josh Allen.
All right.
No 56 points, against the Colts.
Yeah. 150 points in the last 3 games for the Bills.
It's a lot. It's good.
350 burgers. 350 burgers.
Right.
All right. So last question for AFC. We've already talked about at least moving on.
Okay.
Who is your AFC Super Bowl representation?
Who's my AFC Super Bowl right now?
You got
man, give me some little bit of time on this. I want to make sure I'm doing this right.
So
my winners was the Titans. My winners was Browns, and my winners was the Colts.
Yeah. So your matchup would be Chiefs Colts because you said the low seed goes up there.
Got you.
1 versus 7. And then you would have Browns Titans.
Got it.
So you've lost your 2 seed already.
Okay.
And your 3 seed. So who do you got?
All right, man. Call me crazy on this one, but I'm gonna trust. Without their head coach, they can still get the job done on Saturday night. This may sound crazy, but like I say, that run game attack, that 2-headed monster, I think they can be a problem for teams come playoff time. And I think Baker would get himself together. I got the Browns, man. This may sound crazy. This may shock the hell out of all the listeners on Ultimate Sports Network. But I think the Browns, with that running game, and Baker Mayfield with his competitive attitude, he gonna be ready. I like the Browns, man, to beat the Chiefs in the AFC Conference Championship.
Hot take late Thursday morning. I don't got it like that. I'll wrap what I got up here. I think these games are going to be fantastic, especially on the AFC side. But I don't see it with the Colts over the Bills. So long story short, I've got the Bills and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. But I'm going Bills. I'm on the bandwagon. Man. I've said it all year long, man. I've been on the Josh Allen train. I've been on a couple other podcasts, and I've been screaming the Bills, Bills, Bills.
Right.
I've been diving through tables. I've been doing all kinds of stuff like Bills Mafia, and I won't bet on it. That's for sure. But
see me real quick.
I got Bills representing AFC.
Right now, I got the Browns, but that can change in the next hour or the next week, by studying COVID, COVID tests. But right now, my gut feeling as of right now, is the Browns. But like I said, that could easily change in the next couple of days. But I just like that 2-headed monster. But that's if they can get past the Steelers without their head coach. You know what I mean? That's going to be hard.
Yeah, that's going to be extremely hard.
Right.
And to double dip the Steelers in back-to-back weeks, that's also going to be difficult.
Definitely.
All right, so AFC wrapped up. Okay. Moving on down, NFC, where there's a lot of different records next to these teams' names down here. Saints Bears are going to kick it off. Do you think the Bears at 8-8, uh, put a little charge into the Saints in Superdome?
Let's say if this was just a defensive game only where the offenses can't get on the field, it's just the Saints defense versus the Bears defense just for 4 quarters, I would go with the Bears, but I just don't trust Mitch Trubisky against that New Orleans front D and that secondary. And you know Drew Brees gonna be ready on the offensive side. Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara's back. You know Sean Payton gonna throw in Taysom Hill and do something crazy. Oh man, I gotta go with the Saints on this one, man. I gotta go with the Saints. Like I said, if this was a defensive game where the offense can't play, I'll pick the Bears. But it's going to be a game where the offense get a chance and the defense get a chance. I like the Saints. I just think the Saints is going to be, hot fire. This is Drew Brees' last year, so the New Orleans Saints is not going to let that man down his last year. They're going to give it everything they got, and no way they lose it to the Bears. No way. I say maybe I say 37-20 Saints.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be a no contest with 13 back too. Michael Thomas is going to be.
Oh yeah, woo! It's going to be crazy.
That one's a wash. That one's a wrap.
Definitely.
And my wife's a Saints fan too, so.
Wow. Mine is too. Mine is too.
Yes.
And I'm a Falcon fan, so we have it out.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah, my wife is from New Orleans, man. So.
Wow. Cool.
So
we got something in common.
There you go.
Wow, both for Saints fans.
Yeah. So limping in is that Washington football team, and after that debacle we had last weekend, I didn't even make it one of the topics because everybody's been talking about it, so we're blue in the face.
Gotcha.
We can touch on it a little later if you want. I think we're gonna have a little bit of time.
Okay.
So we got Washington football team 6-10, and I've been, actually Frank knows about this. I've been high on these dudes too, man. Not high as in like, oh my gosh, they're gonna, run away with the division, 4 or 5 weeks ago. But I just feel like they're out of all the East teams, all the NFC East teams, they have the best roster. You know what I mean? Like Antonio Gibson, he was an amazing draft pick this year.
Right.
The comeback story of Alex Smith doesn't even need to be talked about. That's right. Amazing. Terry McLaurin, he's a great slot receiver. He's probably not a number one. So if they get some help for him, if you have Terry McLaurin as a number 2 or in the slot, and they get a number 1 wide receiver, and there's some out there, there's going to be some available in this offseason. So, and their defense, nasty.
Oh,
led by Chase Young. So I've been like, hey man, I think these, with Frank and I we're on together, and he said, boom, I said they win in the East, and so I'm glad they held up their end of the deal that I bargained on. But yeah, Tampa Tom and Washington football team, the WFT. What do you see happening there?
I'm gonna tell you this, man. The Buccaneers kind of remind me of the Chiefs, man. They're a team that can kind of just come off with a slow start. You can be like, what in the hell going on? Like you saw, like real quick, going back to the AFC real quick, you seen that, what was it, week 16 when my Falcons played the Chiefs, and they barely beat us because our field goal kicker, a Pro Bowler, missed the field goal. But that game alone showed me that I can't trust the Chiefs. And going back to the NFC, I can't trust the Buccaneers. They've had so many slow starts. I had my time with Tom Brady this year in fantasy football where he's like not doing nothing, then he do something. I don't know the status of Mike Evans. Is he 100%? Probably not. Antonio Brown, he's trying to get there, but I'm not sure is he there. I know he did ball out last week. But I like the Washington in this game. Alex Smith been through so much, lost his job to 2 great quarterbacks, Colin Kaepernick and Patrick Mahomes. He's been through so much pressure coming back from the injury. Then you got Ron Rivera, who's fighting cancer, beating cancer every day. Then you got, Chase Young going at Tom Brady, talking that trash, saying, I want Tom. And the Buccaneers, man, they run off to a slow start. I'm telling you, Joe, if they come out to a slow start in this game here, and man, it's over with. I ain't saying it's going to be a blowout, but I like the Washington in this one because Brady and them come out to a slow start. They do it almost every single game. Then I go back to that Monday Night Football game, the key game when they played the Giants. The Giants should have beaten them, but the referee kind of, cheated for the Buccaneers. It didn't give the Giants the call, but so many games where you're like, man, the Buccaneers should be blowing up the Giants, and they barely beat the Giants. So I like Washington in this one. I want to say 27-23. I think Alex Smith is going to have a good game, not a great game. He's going to manage it well. Then you got that running game where you don't know if you're going to get McKissick, is you're going to get, like you just don't know what running back they're going to throw at you. And also, they passing game can get going. What's the receiver name? Tall guy, number 82. He's, he could be a problem. I can't think of the.
You're talking about Logan Thomas.
He could be a problem also. But I think Washington get this game done more on their defensive side, and it gives the offense more versatility to get going. So I say Washington 27, Bucks 23, and it's going to be a sad story because they're going to be, oh, Brady's going home, Bill Belichick. But hey, I got to go with Washington because that defense is nice, and I don't know if Brady could be able to drop back and handle that pressure right away.
Yeah, I mean, Tampa was able to get Godwin back going. He went cold kind of the middle of the season. AB was tearing it up. Antonio Brown was playing well, and right. Evans is he's usually good for 2 catches, 2 touchdowns though. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of guys that throw the ball around too with Gronk. That's 4 offensive weapons right there in the passing game for Tom. So he's got a lot to think about. But those are good problems to have. Those receivers. But I think Tampa is going to be too much for him, man. It's just unfortunately just limping in 6-10. It's a good story. Everything that you mentioned, no doubt. Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. Yeah. I think they're a great story, and I think they're coming up for sure. I think they're coming up, but I think they're missing things to be winning playoff games right now.
I tell you what, though, if the Buccaneers, like I just say, if they get off to a slow start, like how they've been doing in some of these games this season, they mess around and get to a slow start. And the game would go from 3-0 to 9-3 or 10, 12 or 14, 12, and the Washington is up. Washington can find a way to win it. But Tom Brady must come off to a fast start. If they come in there early 3 and outs, Washington will sense that, and Washington will somehow find a way to edge that game. But if Brady come out to a fast start, is just throwing it to Gronk, throwing it to, Evans if he's healthy, or, Godwin, then I can see, the Bucks winning. But if Brady come out to that just struggling, man, what's going on with Brady? Hey, watch out for Washington. I'm just saying, watch out. Watch out.
All right. So, I mean, you got Washington taken and Saints over Bears. So they would take on the bye week Packers as the lowest seed after that. So that would leave us to Seattle and the Rams. Always a tough game to determine. How do you see that one panning out?
Seattle and the Rams. Okay, we got Seahawks, Rams. You know what? I was really on that Rams bandwagon about maybe 3 weeks ago because they were doing good. They beat Tom Brady. I think that was a Monday night game. So I was like, okay, I can trust these Rams. But then they go to the Jets, lose to the Jets. And I'm like, you know what? They lost bad to the Seahawks last week. I think it was I can't think of the score, but it was like, I was like, wow, what the hell is going with the Rams, So I'm going with Seattle because I can't trust the Rams. They're not consistent enough. If they was consistent enough, I'd go with them, but I think Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, you never know what Pete Carroll's going to throw at you. He can throw the running game at you, or he can get, fire, catch fire and hit up Metcalf and hit up Tyler Lockett. So you never know what Pete Carroll's going to throw at you. And then you got Russell Wilson, who's a quarterback / a running back. I don't think the Rams will be ready for the big stage. Like I said, they've been too much inconsistent. The running game, you don't really know what Sean McVay going to throw at you. But at the same time, out of those 3 backs, Seattle could find a way to manage that. And if it turned into a passing game, that could be a problem for Seattle because you got Robert Woods and you got Cooper Kupp. And, man, you do not want to let them get fired. But I don't see Los Angeles beating Seattle by passing. They got to be able to run and pass. And I don't think Seattle and Pete Carroll will allow that. So I want to go Russell Wilson and Seahawks. I'll say this game here, because they can get some crazy scores high or low. I want to go in this one here. I want to say 23-16. 23-16. I like Seahawks. 23-16. It's going to be one of those ugly games where the score is just not going up, but then so happens second half it goes up. So I like Seahawks 23-16.
Sounds like playoff football, man.
Yeah.
especially that's going to be in Seattle. It's going to be rainy up there. I used to live up there, man. Like it gets cold,
Right.
cold and rainy. Open stadium, beautiful stadium though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see it the same way you do. I think Seattle is also just a little bit too much. Even though Rams D has been playing
Yeah.
very well lately.
Right.
And also, you have the Rams passing attack that could really take the cover off the back end of that Seattle defense that's been struggling all year long. So,
Definitely.
very tough game to kind of get your hands around. But yeah, I definitely see Seattle moving on, and they would move on and see the Saints down in New Orleans again.
Woo!
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. So that's what we got. We got Packers with MVP candidate Aaron Rodgers going up against your Washington football team at the 7th seed, sneaking in. And then that would the second game would be Seattle Saints. Let me know who you got in the Super Bowl from the NFC.
As much as I like I say, talk good about Washington, I think it stops in Green Bay. Like I said, going to Lambeau Field, you know it's gonna be cold. Aaron Rodgers, man, he makes something out of nothing. I mean, you give Aaron Rodgers a can of pork and beans, he's gonna make a great meal out of that. He's gonna find a way to make a big meal, whether it's Thanksgiving or it's your birthday. You can't count on Aaron Rodgers right now. Washington, I don't think they have it in them to beat Green Bay. Like I say, that connection between Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and Aaron Rodgers, that would be a problem for Washington. As far as pass rush, you don't want to play the pass rush game with Aaron Rodgers because you may sack him 1 or 2 times, but eventually he's going to get tired of that mess and he's going to find a way to pick you apart, whether that meaning finding you, off sides or just rushing the offense. He's going to find ways to pick you apart. And I don't think Washington will have enough to stop that. I know they got Chase Young and, I think it's Darius Ruck, I believe. But I think Aaron Rodgers, man, he haven't been to Super Bowl. He haven't won a Super Bowl since 2010. You know what I'm saying? So he's hungry to get back there. I don't see Washington doing this. I would have, the Packers winning that game. I would say it'd probably be an ugly one, man. I say 38 to Washington 22. I think Aaron Rodgers have a monster day in that one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's tough for anybody to go up there and win, but
right.
Let's just say Washington does win.
Okay.
They're gonna be that's house money, right? They're gonna be house money, and they're gonna be the lows.
Right.
Taking on a really fresh Packers team with probably a healthy Devontae Adams, and you're not trying to see that. It would be snowy and ugly. Let's just say Tampa wins. Those the boys from the tropics that go up to the tundra, and so Packers are on a mission this year.
Right.
We've said this before, though. We've seen this before. But if they can stay healthy, because I feel like the injuries is always what catches up with them in the playoffs, and then they run into a good team and they're not full strength, and then Rodgers is trying to do it all. Like they're on a mission this year, and they're going to be 1,000% tough to beat.
Oh yeah.
All right. So that's Packers, Washington from you in that bracket. So then that would be Seattle Saints after that.
Seattle and New Orleans, man, I can see myself in my house right now talking trash to my wife, hoping her Saints lose. This may probably shock my wife and shock a lot of the Saints fans. I'm a Falcon fan. If this game goes down, Seattle, New Orleans, I think Seattle lose this game because they're going to have a problem. Like I said, you got Michael Thomas, you got Alvin Kamara, you got Drew Brees, you got Taysom Hill. You got so many ways. And Sean Payton, he's a great play caller. He can draw something up that may go this way, but they can turn around and go that way. Taysom Hill can easily change a game in a matter of seconds. Yeah. I got to go with New Orleans on this one. I like Russell Wilson. I like the Seahawks. I know they're a good running pound team. You got Metcalf, but I like New Orleans in this one. I just think Seattle have their hands full trying to stop that Alvin Kamara. Man, you seen that Christmas game, by the way? 6 touchdowns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude is blowing it up, man. He's blowing it up so bad. I already got him on my mock draft for my fantasy team next year. Yeah. But I like New Orleans in this one. I say this could go easily 33-26 New Orleans. I just think Russell will find his way to get them in, but that defense will let them down. And I think Seattle, Seattle unfortunately lose this one. They'll lose it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, another weapon that's kind of been low key under the radar this year, Emmanuel Sanders from the Saints, man.
Yeah, that one.
He's been holding it down. He's a good receiver, right? He's a
Right,
good receiver, and he's always a fantastic complement in whatever offense he's in. He's never really like the number one guy. I think he has been in the past with Denver, but
right,
like to have that guy supplement your offense and get your number one some extra catches and pull away from that double teams. So
right.
he's been playing really well this year as well for the Saints. So yeah, I got the Saints moving on. So that would leave us with Packers Saints in the Tundra, one versus two, game of the year, possibly monster narrative. Send it, big dog. What do you got?
My Falcon Nation, Falcon fans, Dirty Bird Nation, you guys are gonna be pissed off at me. If you're on here listening to Ultimate Sports Network, I got New Orleans going to the Super Bowl. Like I said, bad as it hurt me to say this, man, because like I said, my wife, she talk trash to me all the time. Because my Falcons ain't doing nothing right now. So she's been talking trash all season long. She's gonna talk trash this week against the Bears. So it hurts me to say this, Joe. It really do, man. I'm telling you because I'm a Falcon fan, and we don't like the Saints. Okay, we don't like them. All right, and people always like, "Oh, you got a wife." I said, "Yeah, but I love her." But hey, it is what it is. But we just don't like the Saints, man. And I hate to give them that upper hand, but I have no choice. Who's going to stop Alvin Kamara, Joe? Who's going to stop Drew Brees from getting those passes out to Michael Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders? And who's going to stop that, man? Then the defensive side, you got Jack Rabbit, you got what's the guy named Marcus Lattimore. Man, I can't think of the D lineman name, by the way. I can't think of his name. What's the D lineman name? He's real good. What's his name? The D lineman from the Saints.
Talk about Cam
Is it Cameron?
Jordan. Cam Jordan.
Cameron Jordan. You got him. So I just think that's a lot for Green Bay. Don't get me wrong. Aaron Rodgers will have a good game. Okay, he's going to ball out. Devontae Adams is going to do his thing. But Sean Payton is going to throw. He's going to throw everything at the Packers. And think about it, Joe, real quick. Also, for the past 3-4 years now, New Orleans will get there close. Whether it's the second round or the actual conference round, and they just somehow find a way to lose it. Either the referee didn't call a play. I think the Saints going to have all that built up in them. Hey, how many times the referees cheated on us? Hey, you remember that Minneapolis Miracle against the Vikings where they caught the pass on us and won the game? The Saints have so many heartbreaking playoff losses, so far. They're going to have all that built in. And last but not least, they know this is Drew Brees' last year. You want to give it your all for the man that leads you to your leader. I don't see them losing this game. I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers because he haven't got there since 2010. But I just think New Orleans have too much weapons. I think this one will go down in a shootout. I want to say 40-36 New Orleans.
Yeah. Even in the snow?
Even in the snow.
Yeah.
I hate to say that because I'm a Falcons fan.
Yeah. Dude, I got you, man. Saints, I feel like are the more complete team. There's a couple, weird losses in there that put them down behind the pack for the number one overall seed because it was the Saints all year.
Right.
It was their one seed majority of the year until a couple of stumbles. But absolutely, man, that defense is arguably the best in the league, right?
Yeah.
They got great defensive line, got great linebackers, and then their cover corners. Those four DBs. That be with them and the Rams, that could be tops in the league. The safeties in the corners, Lattimore you mentioned, and Jenkins,
Jack Rabbit, Jenkins, yeah.
So they are squared away. You're right. There's big things laying on this year for the Saints.
Right.
I've been kind of feeling this way all year that they were gonna be in it, and so I'm with you as well. I do have Saints in the Super Bowl as well. So that would be Saints Browns for you, and Saints Bills for me. Number 2 versus number 2 seeds. I just feel like those are the complete teams.
Right.
At this moment, both the Packers and the Chiefs as number 1 seeds have shown why they're there.
Right.
They showed how dangerous they are, but I don't think either one of those teams' defenses matches up with the Bills' defense and the Saints' defense. And I'm also just going to stick to my guns. That this is how I've been kind of seeing things from the beginning of the year. So that's where I'm at as well, man. So Yeah, I like your insight, man. We didn't see eye to eye on a few of those teams, the matchups, though.
Yeah, we'll see right now, Joe, with me, I'm going off my gut feeling right now. Like I say, this could change in the next week or so by just like I say, COVID happening, a player get injured, or you find out, a report about something. But right now, I just think the Saints right now for the NFC, like I said, this is man, I hate saying this. I'm a Falcon fan. Oh my God. But they just good, Joe. They're really good. And I gotta give credit where credit is due, Joe. The Saints have the best team in the NFC and AFC. Like I say, I just think that Chiefs and Falcons game, when we played them, that showed me if the right team come into their, what was it, Arrowhead? If the right team come into Arrowhead Stadium and don't have, don't come in there, bull jobbing, they could be beat. Patrick Mahomes, he could so happen to have a slow start. I get it. They got all these weapons, Joe. They got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Hartman. They got, Le'Veon Bell, Edwards. They got so much weapons. But if the right team come in there and give them problems early, they can win. Like I said, Joe, we should have won that game. The field goal kicker missed the field goal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We was tweeting. We was tweeting.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
You don't have to tell me, man, about the Chiefs stumbling and some of their holes because I watched it right here in Vegas. Like their first loss was to the Raiders. That was on the road, but that game came down to the wire when it was here in Las Vegas. So the Raiders almost swept the Chiefs this year. Like, let's be real. Like
you're right.
That almost happened. That almost happened.
You're right.
So, yeah, man.
So how you feel about the coaches, man? As far as the coaches, I think Frank mentioned like he wanted to talk about the coaches. Like, what do you mean by the coaches, Frank? Like, you want us to kind of get into like more of just the playoff record of it, or just okay? So our coaches, were the coaches that's in the playoffs, or the coaches that's kind of not in the playoffs? Okay. So we got what? Andy Reid, we got Sean Payton, we got like what? Who else we got in the playoffs right now?
Playoff.
Okay, playoff coaches. What far as their success or they records or?
Let it rip.
I think right now, man, the best coach in the playoffs to me, that's really hard. Like I said, I do got the Saints winning it, but at the same time, you got so many great coaches, so it's kind of hard for me to dictate what the coaches may do because at the end of the day, they can only call the plays and the players can play it. But I like what Andy Reid has done with the Chiefs. Like I said, since he got there, I did not like the way Philly treated him. I felt like Philly got rid of him, kind of messed up. And he been able to bounce back with his new quarterback. Like I say, at first it was him and Alex Smith, but that didn't work out. So I like the way how they, just started a new chemistry. I want to talk about a coach that's not a player that I kind of feel bad for is Bill Belichick, because nobody is giving Bill Belichick any props at all. It's all about, Brady won the, marriage, divorce, but Bill Belichick, you think about it, how many players, like 7 or 9 players that hopped out this season because of COVID. You think about just, having Cam Newton, then not having them because of COVID, but then there wasn't any, season. There wasn't any reps during the off season. So, then going to, I like Kevin Stefanski. That's why I'm really praying that the Browns can go as far, because it's just not fair to this man. Like I said, this is his first job, head coaching job, for the Browns. Well, I think first head coaching job in NFL, period. I think I could be wrong on that, but it's just not fair to look back at that a year from now and say, man, what if I coached that game, And, I just don't like that. But like I said, I think overall the coaches, that's in the playoffs is the right coaches that we need to be here. Like I said, unfortunately, Bill couldn't get there. But you knew who also kind of disappointed that's not there also, other than Bill? Brian Flores. A 10-6 football team. You got battles going on between Tua and Fitzpatrick. They figure it out. But unfortunately, ran into the hot Buffalo Wing Bills. And the Bills just really set a statement like, look, before we end this here, it's 56-26. Watch out for us, And that credit goes to, is it Sean McDermott? Yeah, credit goes to him. He's a great, coach, and he's doing great with that Bills team. But coach of the year for me, I don't know about you, Joe, but coach of the year for me, I have to give it to Brian Flores. I like Brian Flores.
Yeah, I definitely won't argue there. I think that resurrection that he's done in Miami, and what an unlucky time to to be an East team right now. Whereas the changing of the guard, the Patriots come down, and then the Bills are 13-3.
Right.
So Miami is like, damn it. But no, for sure, 10 wins. For Flores, a monster turnaround. I have faith in that guy that they'll figure out the Tua thing. I think the media is blowing it up right now.
Right.
Tua is a good quarterback, or they wouldn't have 10 wins, right?
Right.
I understand Fitzmagic. He does it every year for 1 or 2 games. But they played well. They played spirited and fired up behind him under center. I don't think there's a problem there. I think just some weird timely losses. And then that Browns Steelers game was very big too, right? Steelers win that game.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember, but I think there was a situation where Miami would have slid in there.
Yeah.
So like really weird situation, bad luck, bad timing. They'll be back. Flores for Coach of the Year. I'm about it.
Definitely.
So look, man, I really appreciate you coming on. If you want to tweet Clarence, it is @ Clarence Jones. If you want to hit me up, it's at Joey Q, the real Joey Q34. You heard Clarence, the Monster Falcons fan. His team was kind of down and out this year, but they're going to get them a head coach that they're happy with. We talked about Eric Bieniemy and maybe even Joe Brady. Hopefully you guys get Eric B. I think he's the right man for the job down there. Former player, he'll be able to relate. And an offensive, brilliant offensive mind. He'll be able to get whatever, the direction that is needed down in the ATL. And then you guys will be competitive back in that NFC Central down there. South, sorry, yeah.
So quick, Joe, I'm not gonna let you leave. Easy, man. You kept my brain, and you came at me with my Falcons. Talk to me about what happened week 12 when my Falcons played your Raiders, and it was like 44-6, 43-6. I ain't gonna let you go that easy, man. What happened week 12 when my Falcons played your Raiders?
Listen, man. There's not anything in sports that I talk more about than them Raiders.
Right.
Honestly, every time I talk about it, I keep learning more and more that I should have already known, as in because someone's seeing something that I didn't. And I tell you what, man, Gruden's on a 10-year contract. I think we're year 4 into this thing right now.
Yeah.
People are not happy. They're not happy with how it went down. They were 6-3 at one point.
Yeah,
Raiders, they were 6-3, looking good, and about to get the second game with the Chiefs. And I can't remember. Somebody put them down. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but somebody put them at 6-4, and it was like, all right, okay, that's not so bad. Yeah. And then boom, someone else put them down to 6-5, and it was like, woo. all right. The next thing you know, they're 6-6. They're 500.
Right.
And then the Jets debacle. They should have lost that game, man. They should have lost that game. And actually, a funny story to that real quick was I was actually playing in a softball game, a softball tournament down in Laughlin.
Okay.
And so with a bunch of Las Vegas dudes. So we're watching the game on ESPN app.
Yeah.
And it went final. It went final that the Jets had won. I don't know if it was a glitch or, there was a penalty. I can't remember. I didn't watch it live.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a penalty or something, but something made it go final. We're all like, oh, Jets, Raiders, oh my God.
Right.
And then 2 seconds later, we look at it and it's 48-yard bomb to Ruggs to win the game.
Yeah.
And actually, speaking of Ruggs, man, I was looking at his stats. That guy should have the ball way more. I think he had under 40 catches, and he only had 450 yards, something like that, and a couple touchdowns. A talent like that with Aguilar and Waller, and Double J, Josh Jacobs, he's got to get the ball more. Ruggs has got to get the ball more. He is a beast, and they just didn't get him the ball. And I'm watching the game, and I'm like, throw it to Ruggs, man. Throw it to Ruggs. So,
I think the 4 or 5 games I've watched of your Raiders, like I said, this is just what I see. it looks like when Carr drops back, he looks for Waller first all the time. I'm not sure because Waller is just so tall, but I feel like Ruggs, like you said, he should be getting more look ats. And maybe that's something they can bring into next season, making sure you expand the field, you know. But real quick, while I'm talking about Carr, how do you feel about your quarterback? You know, like you asked me about Matt Ryan and my feelings. How do you feel about Carr? Is Carr the guy?
Yes. I think he
Okay.
is.
Okay.
He's a staple. I think the investment is large now, and he's not going anywhere. I think that every year him and Gruden get more and more in tune and on the same page. You would
Right.
think you would think 4 years in it'd be a little better, but I also just think that like man, he gutted that team. Like he got a lot of picks,
Mm-hmm.
that Khalil Mack trade, but he had to tear it down pretty good. And so they're still just getting in the guys they want that to be happy with there.
Right.
And I mean, their drafts have been phenomenal. Like you got Ruggs, you
Yeah.
got Jacobs. They got some lots of offensive line help. They got some
Mm-hmm.
defensive help, and I think that's a big thing. I think that's the straw that broke the camel's back this year was just the defense wasn't ready to hang with offensive production like the Chargers and the Chiefs
Right.
were putting on people this year. So it just they fired the defensive coordinator
Yeah.
right in about like the third, fourth of the year. So the last 3 or 4 games weren't even spirited. They weren't really in it, even though they were still kind of like actually in it with the records and all. They won a game or two
Yeah.
here and there. They may have snuck in had the cards fell another way. But yeah, it's honestly, man, it's one of those teams that are like really close to 500 every year, and sometimes you're talking about it so much you start making up stuff that's wrong.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so like I don't even really know. I don't really know the problem because I see so much good stuff and I see so much bad stuff, and it's just like it's even. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, what do they need? Because every time you think they need something, like that end of the team, special teams or defense or whatever shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're looking for, a big play, a big spark,
Right.
like even though the Jets, obviously Greg Williams threw out that, zero
Yeah.
blitz,
He
but
messed
but
that
at
up.
least they had to make the play though. They still had to make the play and they had
Right.
to be in position to win that game. So like you see times where and then they beat the Chiefs, like you see, and they hung with the Chiefs the second game. You see like all the positives, and you're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And but it just stumbles, and then it just slows down, and man, it's just that's Raider football, man. That's Raider football in these last decades, right? But I do have a lot of faith in Gruden. A lot of people don't. I'll say that, and I think people are. I think a lot of like at least Raider fans are like, they're worried about him being held in such a high esteem because of those Tampa days, those Tampa years,
Yeah.
and the being a network guy
Right.
and being on TV that
Yeah.
he's winning by popularity type stuff.
What I can say though is things that bother me in my time of watching Derek Carr is kind of like with Cam Newton when he was in Carolina. When things are not going right and that camera goes to him on the sideline, I don't like the body language. I don't like the way he looks sometimes. Like you got to still, even if you down by 3 touchdowns, when that camera showing you need to be up reading some type of playbook or monitor. Be encouraged your teammates instead of just sitting on the bench looking like the Undertaker or just looking like you're in Gruden. I think one game I saw, I don't know, was it this year or last year, where him and Gruden look like they've been getting into like an argument or some type of mini about to be argument. I'm like, what the world is that? And I think that could feed off a lot of the players in that locker room to not really know where the organization is going. Not saying that the Raiders are out of, just out of whack, so they not, but when stuff like that happen, when that camera gets on you on the sideline, you shouldn't be on the bench looking like the Undertaker. Okay, you should be talking to your coaches and figuring out how to bounce back. Also, I think from what I saw from Marcus Mariota, I can't remember what game it was, but I think it was a Monday night game where he came in and I thought he did okay. So I would say I don't think Carr is 100% the guy. I think coming into next season, I would love to see John Gruden give Marcus Mariota a shot to compete with Derek Carr for that starting job again, because Marcus Mariota was the number 2 pick, a couple years ago. So he still has something to prove himself. I'm not sure how you feel about Mariota though.
Yeah, honestly, man, no, I think he played well, and I was very, very surprised. I was very surprised that just right out of nowhere. He came in there. He started throwing some dimes.
Yeah.
Started throwing some dimes, and so haven't heard Mariota's name thrown around out there in a while.
Right.
But like that dude could be a starting quarterback at quite a few other teams, right?
Yeah.
But they're holding on to him for injury to Carr. But yeah, like I said, man, like I'm kind of stoked at this moment. They got a lot of work to do, and just like the Falcons as well, like. Everybody else is getting better. Everybody's getting better in the division as well, right? Like, like there's the Chiefs already, cool. But like the Chargers aren't going anywhere. Sure, they fired their head coach, but they got a lot of talent on that roster, and they're going to get even more talent on the roster here shortly. And then being I think the Raiders ended up 7-9 this year, 6-10, 7-9. It was 7-9. So now they're going to be middle of the pack pick, and the Chargers are going to get a very high pick. The Broncos are going to get a high pick.
Right.
Broncos are kind of out of it for a while, for sure. They've got a lot of work to do, but yeah, man. Good point on Mariota getting in the. I don't think it's completely out of the cards.
Right.
I think Carr isn't Gruden's guy. Carr wouldn't be here if he wasn't Gruden's. At least like I'm gonna ride this out to see. He's got a big contract too. So
right. What's your thought on real quick? If we got time. Just real quick, I would love to see Mariota get a shot in Denver. If not, if it don't work out with you guys. Well, real quick, what's your take on it as far as this Eagles, man? Who's going to be the guy you think, next season? Wentz or, like what's happening with Hurts, Wentz, man, Doug Peterson, like how do you think Eagles going to turn out coming into preseason, going into the regular season for next year?
Ooh, man.
It's a hot mess, right?
Yeah, I was watching it. I was watching that game, and I was trying to stay off the social media because I was like, I can just see it like lighten up. And I'm like,
right.
I want to watch it for myself. I want to watch it for myself right now. And so, man, I was trying to stay away from this, but it's all good. I have no idea what that dude was thinking, man. No idea. And also, like, they can say whatever they say, and I'm on board with what they're saying. If that's true, cool, got it. I don't really understand why, but Sudfeld is a third stringer, man. If you're trying to get, and he's been there for a while, and you're trying to get him in the game, with these other two dudes, and like also, I haven't heard anybody say this, and I was thinking it right off the bat. Hurts had 2 touchdowns in that game.
He did.
He had 2 running touchdowns. So they're sitting here saying that the offense sputtered while he was under there, and I'm like, he has both touchdowns. He has both touchdowns. What is going on? So yeah, man, that was a very awkward situation. He's got a lot of relationships to mend.
Definitely.
Because only they know what happened in there, right? Only Doug Peterson and that coaching staff know what's really true. Kelsey came out and backed up Coach P today. Yeah. So only the super veterans like Kelsey and the guys from the Super Bowl team know what's going on there. But honestly, like I don't know how you don't let Hurts win that job. I just don't. Like they could have won the division, and they did it because of Hurts, or they would have been 4-12 like Atlanta.
Oh, why you gotta hurt me right there? Come on, Joe. Don't do it to me, Joe. Don't do it to me.
Sorry. But yeah, man, like they could have been worse, right? Oh, sorry, they have that tie with the Bengals, but they would have been 4-11, looking bad. But they ended up, it's still there in contention at the end, and all because of Hurts. Hurts played well. To be honest with you, man, like I'm not an NFL executive, and what you do with Wentz, I don't know what the right play is. I don't like they are in a massive rock and hard place right now, and I'm gonna let them dudes. I'm gonna let them figure it out because that's what they do. But honestly, like just as a fan, a regular fan, and a guy talking sports, like I see that predicament and I'm like I don't know. Like Wentz, I mean, if they trade him, there's not anybody that can take that contract. There's no way. Right. Except for the low-level teams, right? Like Jacksonville, and a few other teams with the higher picks because they got a lot of cap space. But I mean, they're looking for they got the 1 and 2 picks. They're going to get their quarterback right there. They don't need to go and get Wentz, who could be in the Nick right now.
It's
And
a
I know,
hot mess.
I know it's some Eagle fans that are just like, this is
Whew.
a problem a college football team has, right?
Right.
This isn't a problem in an NFL where you just bring in some, and he looked horrible, Sudfeld, man. I just,
Yeah, third string. Yeah, you know.
no, for sure. But I'm just like, still, like, they were, hungry that, like, he's a vital key to their quarterback room. And that dude couldn't even catch the ball in shotgun, man.
Right.
So,
Yeah. And I
yeah,
understand everybody's frustration, but at the end of the day, I was bothered by nobody just didn't give Washington a shot in that opportunity. Like they never had a chance to win or wasn't going to win. I get why everybody's mad, especially if you're an Eagles fan or if you're just an NFL fan. You wanted to see a competitive game. You didn't want to see Sudfeld. You wanted to see Hurst in there. But let's forget about don't forget about the Washington football team. They also had a chance to win that game, and they did. So don't just make it like, oh, if Hurst would have stayed in, Washington would have win. Let's be respectful to both sides. Just even though Peterson did kind of tank the moment, that's still, give respect to Washington football team.
no, you're absolutely right, man. They did what they needed to do. They didn't let whatever was going on the other side of the sideline affect them. They methodically won the game the right way, and they deserve to be there. They did what it took, given these rules and this format of the playoffs. They did what they had to do to get in there. So, but yeah, man. So I think that's gonna do it for us, bro. And I really, like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I love chatting up sports with you, even with even in our time in class, but also our time out of class on Twitter and whatnot. So yeah, man, I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts with the Falcons, sharing your thoughts with the playoffs, and then having like a little freestyle at the end, man. So you enjoy the rest of your day, all right? And we'll talk soon, brother.
Real quick, everybody, you can follow me again at _ Clarence Jones. You can check out my website, www.cjsportsmedia.com. Shouts out again to Ultimate Sports Network. Shouts out to Frank Gordon and Joseph. Man, thank everybody again for tuning in, and I want to thank you guys for bringing me on. And let's hope to do it again. Whenever the time is right.
Got it, man. Yeah. So hey, enjoy your day, man. We'll talk soon, brother.
You too, Joe.
Yeah, man.